3 Points of Articulation podcast. 3 POA are all elite, and we are back with another episode of the 3 Points of Articulation podcast, and we're covering AEW this week, the Rise and Rise, so it seems. I'm joined, as per usual, by my co-host. If he was an authority figure, he would be Adam Pearce. It's Adam the Wrestling Man. How are you?
It's pottering time! I'm good. You?
Yeah, I was going to say the reason I'm calling you Adam Pearce is because you're strong-minded and you probably used to be better looking when you were younger. That was the theory behind that. And my other co-host, if he was an authority figure, he'd be Johnny DeVille. Johnny Flashback, how are you?
Well, unlike you two, I haven't done anything planned for this segment, so I've got nothing clever to say in regards to that, but good little puns, Jamie.
Well, it's very much what held Sonya Deville back throughout her career, is that she wasn't big on the mic, so I guess that makes sense, doesn't it?
I haven't seen enough of Sonya Deville to comment on that.
No. We've seen enough, I imagine. How are you boys doing? What, anything cracking from around the world? Adam, let's come to you. How are you?
Is anything cracking from around the world? What on earth does that mean?
It means what you're watching, what you're doing, what's cracking up there? How's the TV?
Cracking with the knacking. I am working constantly and gymming it constantly. So that's about my life, apart from sleep.
Well, I've just cracked the beer open for a treat. Why not? Since we are podding late at night. It's an Amarillo, and it's a single hop pale ale.
Ooh.
There you go.
You're odd. Is the TV signal sorted up country?
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't
Not
know.
in my area.
I don't use it, so I just use internet really, so I don't really know or care.
People are still mourning, and my car radio still won't work properly. So
I imagine the views for Emmerdale have just gone.
Probably.
I tell you what, I won't go going. The views for AEW, which we're covering today. So let's head over to the news segment, boys, where we'll be covering AEW first. Shall we? Back in 2.
News.
And let's head over to news now, shall we, boys? Start with AEW Fan Fest. So I did a full video of this on YouTube. Feel free to check it out. But all the figure reveals from Fan Fest, as well as a cheeky little buddy in there as well. So should we start with the LJN Darby Allin? So this is from the Unmatched Series 3. Adam, let's come to you first on this one. What's your view on Darby?
I don't think it really matters what my view on Darby is. I think my view on LJN figures in the present day are very low, to be honest. It's something from the 80s. Lots of people will look back and they'll go, oh, brilliant, the memories. But it's just, we've moved on for me, and it ain't great.
I think the figure itself looks pretty good but as we say, it's just renders at the moment. It's hard to tell what the final product would look like. I thought Cody was decent when it was in a render stage, and it turned out to be pretty horrific. So, and I don't really have much of a fandom of the LGN line anyway, so I'm not super excited, but it's good for those who are.
Yeah, it's interesting that they've only done the 2 of the LJNs. They did Cody in Series 1 and now Darby in Series 3. So whether they're doing a Luminaries...
I can tell you what they're doing there. They are alternating between the LGN and a Luminary. So Sting is a Luminary in Series 2, and then the LGN in Series 3, and then there's another Luminary in Series 4, as we might get to.
Yes, we will do indeed. So let's stick with Series 3 then, a Dark Order Heavy Series 3. So John Silver up first. Body-wise, it looks sort of what I imagine the Ultimate figures are going for. When you look at the actual body for John Silver, it looks fantastic in my eyes. But for you guys, what's your... go for you first, Johnny.
He looks in good shape for the figure. Looks to be like him. I hope they got the size right, because he's really quite short. So I hope at least the scaling for that's done right. And if it is, then it's going to be a cracking figure.
Yeah, it's a really simple figure. As Jono says, it needs to represent him perfectly. So if he's the same height as Brody Lee or something like that, then it'll obviously go down like a lead weight. I don't think facial wise it's perfect. I hope it comes out slightly better facial wise.
We got two heads to choose from with John Silver, which is quite good. You got the sort of smiley, happy one, and then the early days.
All right, I haven't seen the other head. Are they going to have any entrance gear with him, or is this the final product, or what?
Well, there's not been mentioned, but looking at the first renders that we saw for Series 1 of Unmatched, all the figures come as they were in the renders, if that makes sense. So Britt Baker had a jacket on, I believe, in the renders and so on. So it would make sense to have a jacket with it, but there's nothing pictured. So,
as I said before about this line, they're just getting very less accessories with each series that goes past, which is very disappointing.
But the price is still the same, which is weird. Next up, Anna Jay. Just back from injury recently. Adam, let's come to Anna Jay. Are they done well with the mold for female characters? What's your view on Anna Jay?
I think female body-wise so far, it's all been very samey. Kind of literally exactly the same kind of body shape. The women figures never quite look as good as the men's, whether it's WWE or AEW. There's never enough of a difference for me. Facial-wise, again, same as John Silver. I don't think it's quite spot on based on the render.
Yeah, looking at the render, it looks to be darkened out. I don't know what's wrong with that. It certainly can't be a finished product.
No, it is a lot darker than the actual body itself. So whether they haven't finished the face scan or I'm not sure, but
looks off.
Yeah, it does look a bit off. And her thighs look a bit big as well. She's not that thick-thighed. Trust me, I've looked. Stu Grayson up next. So yeah, one of my favourite members of the Dark Order when it first started. I think is a tremendous athlete in the ring if you actually watch him. Johnny, let's come to you. Sort of the grimace on Stu Grayson's face sort of matches his figure quite well. What do you think?
I didn't really remember Grayson doing a lot of grimacing, so I think he could have done without that aspect of his face.
He did loads of grim for a while. That was the only facial thing he pulled.
Right, maybe I haven't paid enough attention to Stu Grayson. I think he's one of the less likely ones that you watch. He doesn't stand out as much. I don't think. Fantastic physique and fantastic wrestler, but his look doesn't really stand out as much as the other guys from the Dark Order.
I can completely understand what you mean there. For me, he's the most underrated wrestler in AEW. I thought he was going to be like one of the higher ups when he first debuted at Double or Nothing a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it is. The figure looks really good, to be honest. I'd say the face is pretty spot on this one, so looking forward to this one.
I think the facial wise, if you look at all the figures that they've all got the faces that they pull when they do the Dark Order sign. So I think that's maybe what they're going for.
Okay.
I'll tell you what won't have a facial expression will be Evil Uno, because he's wearing a mask. Quite toyetic. I was quite surprised they've been so toyetic with the figure. Adam, let's come to you.
Yeah, pick of the bunch for me, as far as these figures renders go, at least. It's going to turn out fantastic. They can't go too wrong, I'd hope. Body shape looks really good, and the mask looks really good, so excited about this one.
Agreed. Looks like they got the body shape right, which is probably the main component to need to get right, because I don't think they've done anyone this big before or yet. So, yeah, it looks good from the render, and it's definitely toyetic.
Look at Evil Uno when AEW first started. He was a lot bigger back then than he is now, so it's he's done well to trim down as much as he has. And finally, probably the best selling one of the series, Brody Lee. Once again, there's no news on there's going to be an entrance jacket with it or anything like that, but it's a great looking outfit. TTD designed this outfit. We put on Twitter about it as well. Johnny, let's come to you first on Brody Lee.
The render looks spot on. Couldn't argue. I don't think it's going to come with an entrance attire, because I reckon they're going to release some sort of ringside exclusive or something down the line with all the good accessories like that, because his coat is quite detailed. So and sort of understand why they may leave it out of this one. And of course, maybe the TNT title, whether it comes with this release or not, they'll probably do it in the next one with everything really.
I completely agree with that. Took the words out of my mouth. They're not going to waste the entrance coat on this figure. This figure will sell out without anything, and it's a decent looking figure.
Good stuff. Yeah, I completely agree. You can't go wrong with a Brodie Lee figure nowadays, can you? The Shop AEW exclusive Chris Jericho. Have you guys seen this? A soft goods T-shirt and a Floyd the Bat.
Is that with the pink T-shirt as well?
No, this is a black T-shirt with a picture of Jericho on the front, holding his sunglasses.
Gotcha. Yes, I see it.
It's a shop AEW exclusive, basically, which means that we might get it over here on the global shop.
I suppose we could still order it. You can buy things from there.
Yeah, they haven't gone full Zombie Sailor on us. We're allowed to do that.
Yeah, it looks all right. Again, another render, but again, it's just another Jericho and not much different to the others.
Indeed, and speaking of another Jericho, should we move on to Unmatched Series 4 with the Luminaries, Chris Jericho. Can either of you guys pronounce the Spanish version?
No, I haven't got the word in front of me.
No, even if I did, still couldn't tell you. I had an argument with Dan Bassin and Phil Rapley who arguing amongst each other about the spelling of it. Went on for 3 hours before one of them realised they were wrong. So yeah, once again, we discussed this before, didn't we, about the AEW Legends series and when they could go with it. It's quite interesting to see that they've gone for this Jericho. But yeah, Adam, what's your view?
It's a vague one to go for. It's not one that people will be rushing out thinking I have to get it. It will be one that collectors pick up if they're collecting the whole series. It will be one that Jericho fans get. It's all right. It's a bit different, so I'll give it the thumbs up for that.
Bit different, right? It looks to be, and I think it's Chris Jericho from Mexico when he trained in Mexico, or maybe just when his initial first matches. I literally never seen him in this attire before this picture, so it's definitely an interesting one. And if you want to go down again with the AEW Legends line, it's non-existent so far. It's got one figure. The Sting is not a legend figure. It's current Sting.
Luminaries, whatever that means.
Yeah.
I'll just rifle through these next 3 because we've had them already. So Hangman, Cody, and MJF. Guessing more repaints of these 3. Looks like Cody's going to be in a suit, Hangman in his traditional trousers, pants, what we want to call them, and MJF in different coloured trunks with the same scarf.
Yep. Cody in the suit was bound to happen, so yep. Next.
Jade Cargill was next. A debut figure for Jade Cargill quite soon after her debut in real life. Adam, let's come to you first. What's your view on Cargill getting a figure?
It's a very strange one for me. I was going to be asking you two on this one. Does she have some kind of history past? Is she big in something else before she came here? Because I'm really confused because it almost seems like they're priming her for a title run. They really bigged her up before she came in it. She's got a figure. I'm a bit confused.
No, there's nothing like that. When she was paired with Shaq, I thought she might actually be legit friends with Shaq or was a family member or something like that, but nothing like that exists. She's just literally come from like a wrestling school and into AEW, and it's just all the look. She looks the part, basically.
Right. Strange.
And that she does. Yeah, she's just a big beefy woman, isn't she? But yeah, I completely understand what you're saying, Adam. It's like they've bigged her up like she's Ronda Rousey, and they've sort of fast tracked her to a lot of things. But as far as I'm aware, there's no real history. I think she might have even been a trainee for WWE once. Maybe.
I couldn't confirm that.
No, and finally in the Unmatched series, the one that everyone's been waiting for, one that was also rushed through, CM Punk, looking like it might be for his debut from the other week. Johnny has come to you first on this one.
obviously an excellent business decision to get him out as quick as possible. From the pitch we're given, he's in his t-shirt and pants, so it shouldn't be too hard to do that. I don't know whether they're going to have soft goods t-shirt or whether that's going to be molded on for easiness sake, so they don't have to do all the tattoo work. That would be on his bare chest. So I imagine it's going to be some sort of rush job with somehow a stuck down shirt. Could be, or painted shirt.
Well, the t-shirt was the biggest selling t-shirt of the range ever, I believe. So it makes sense to whack it out in that. I'm praying that they don't really rush it and make a botch job of the face, because that would be really disappointing if they do. They need to get it out quickly. They will do. Just hope it's worth it. Do you think there's any chance of Tony Khan spending a bit of money and getting that Pepsi tattoo on it?
Nah, I think that's just pointless.
Yeah, I think because what did Jax do? Jax just had a red dot, didn't they?
I think it's something that's easily worked around, and in fact, I don't even notice it myself. So,
well, from the customizing world, a lot of people were very not mad. They understood the reasoning, but it was just a bit of a disappointment. A lot of people do get their CM Punk figures customized to include that. So I do think it'd be not pointless on that one. I think quite a lot of people would appreciate it.
I don't know about quite a lot of people. You say there's a very small market for that, as you say, the customizers, the diehards, but not everyone. Not even myself. That's I'm a big wrestling fan and I'm well into figures, and it's not something that's needed.
You like your Coke though, don't you?
To be honest, I'm more of a Pepsi Max fan than any others.
I enjoy Dr. Pepper, to be honest, if that is the Coke you're referring to. Move on to Unrivaled Collection next, shall we? So we covered the other week about Chuck Taylor, Trent, and Chris Statlander. So we've got to cover those again, have we? Once again, it feels a deja vu. We've got a John Moxley in the series, his third for Series 8. Can we talk about that? Anyone got any opinions on the Moxley?
I'm just looking at the renders they're given, and there has to be more of these figures because they're all bare-chested. And as we're going to next, the Orange Cassidy also with a bare chest and no t-shirt, but it's obviously going to be something better, you'd think, than the last release. So at least has to have his t-shirt and jean jacket.
Yeah, I mean, if we discuss the Orange Cassidy, it does come with a jean jacket and a t-shirt, with the new Best Friends t-shirt, but.
Right.
That image was released separately to the actual image of the bare-chested figure, which was strange. So whether that's a chase and the bare-chested one's the normal one, sure,
I wouldn't do that. No, I think if they're doing a chase like that, it would be a different style t-shirt, at least something like that. But it makes sense. I said this all the time when we come to these sort of big events or Comic Cons and renders are released, we can't really comment on them too much, because you can only really comment on the decision of the attire, the decision to make the person, I think.
What about the decision to make the Painmaker Jericho? Because by the looks of things, it's like a drawn-on T-shirt for a start. But what about that decision, Adam? Let's come to you on Painmaker.
Yeah, I like it. You've got a lot of different kind of Jerichos now, and I think this one is massively iconic from the modern era. So I think this one was definitely needed.
Yes, I agree with Adam there. Nothing else to add.
Well, there's the spiked jacket Jericho as well, which once again could be a chase. They haven't revealed any details on it, but the jacket felt is amazing. But the figure looks different to one we had before.
Yeah, that jacket does look good. Hopefully it's not the chase. But then again, I don't know if chases are going to be more easy to get now. They're 3,000, 5,000.
Yeah.
I think they've been nice to him on the body as well, haven't they, on that one?
Oh, they're bound to be.
So Series 9 of Unrivaled, a lot of new faces, a lot of fresh faces in this one. Powerhouse Hobbs up first from Team Taz. It's quite a good backstory to Powerhouse Hobbs. I think him and his brother were both big wrestling fans as a kids. Both wanted to be wrestlers. I think his brother died, and then Powerhouse Hobbs then carried on and become a wrestler from there. So he's got quite a good backstory to him and been quite impressive since he's been on the roster.
What a babyface backstory that is. And what did they do? Never mention it and turn him heel.
They I think they mentioned it maybe when he was jobbing on AEW Dark. I think they mentioned it.
Yeah. He should be quite toyetic with having like the orange attire. He usually pops in a figure, so pretty good.
Lovely stuff, Adam.
Yeah, he's got an interesting body shape as well, completely different to everybody else. So it'll be very interesting how the figure looks on that one.
Stuff. And also in the series, we've got Brian Cage and Ricky Starks from Team Taz, as well as Christian Cage, Eddie Kingston, and Thunder Rosa. An all series of all new fresh faces, which is good to see. So let's move on to the Amazon exclusive Jericho, as we had covered this before when they released it at the previous Fan Fest, but we've now seen the actual images of the figure in the box. It's Jericho with the pink shirt and the white shirt as well, interchangeable with Floyd the Bat, it seems. John, let's come to you first on this one.
This is probably the best Chris Jericho that AEW released so far, I would say. And obviously with your options, you can have him look any which way you want. So, and the facial expression looks great with the glasses on.
Yeah, this one looked good when we first looked at this, when we first saw it. It looks really good. Is it for me? Probably not, but it will please a lot of Jerichoholics.
A lot of accessories in the box as well. The box is filled out very nicely. Now, I think probably the most disappointing thing from the reveals for me has been the 2-packs. I don't know if you guys are going to agree with this or not, but the SCU one, to be precise. Adam, let's come to you first on this, because they've gone with Kazarian and Scorpio Sky again, re-release of the figures. Where's Chris Daniels? Be a bit miffed, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it was a strange choice. It's obviously a money-saving thing for now, at least. And yeah, it's a bit bland. So even the boxes and the presentation are just a bit wishy-washy, a bit bland, like it's been a rush job. I don't think they're going to sell.
Guess it depends on what price they are selling at. But they are basically two normal lines put into one box, so you imagine it'd be at the 40 quid mark. I do understand why it is Scorpio Sky and Kazarian and not Daniels, because they won the tag titles. So you got them in a set. And as we like to see next, I'm sorry, getting a bit ahead of ourselves, got the Hangman and Kenny Omega, who also have those tag titles. So this is probably going to be a theme where they're going to release at least one set of the tag team champs. So you imagine that FTR maybe comes next, and then the Bucks, and etc. etc. So we can expect every single tag team champions to come out on this line.
So, yeah, you can imagine the secondary markets will be flooded with the tag team belts then, won't you?
Yeah, it's probably heading that way.
It's a shame, really, because obviously the Amazon exclusives they could do a lot with them. We could have had that dinner of debonair whatever they had with Jericho and MJF. I'm surprised they haven't released that. I'm not saying they should have done. I'm just saying that I'm surprised that they haven't released it.
Yeah, need to forget about that one.
Well, let's round out the 2-packs then with the Darby Allin and Jon Moxley. Once again, re-releases, but is it a match that sticks in your mind?
I don't remember these two ever having a match. As I said, the other two made sense. And then there's Moxley and Darby Allin, which just looks like two smashed together. A bit like in the classic lines when they had Jeff Hardy and Bret Hart in the 2-pack. Made no sense, really, did it?
I think they did have at least one match.
It was on Dynamite.
Yeah. So I get it, but like Jono says, it's not very memorable. There's no real need for it.
No, it just looks like a dad and his kid, doesn't it? Look at the figures.
With how Paul Moxley is. Just haven't corrected that.
No, strange. There's also like another. I'm guessing it's a 2-pack, but there's not much information on it. The Blood and Guts, Omega and Moxley. There's only images of them separately, really. But yeah, it would sort of be the same as the Cody from the death match. Adam, let's come to you first on this one.
Yeah, the exploding barbed wire match, isn't it? Which
Sort of.
I guess it's going to end up as an iconic moment in AEW, but for me, it's still viewed quite negatively in that one. I think a lot of other people will view it negatively as well. So there's a place for it, but negatively, in my opinion.
If you're saying there's no information, I believe it's going to be a ringside exclusive, and it's going to come with a lot of the weapons that were in that ringside exclusive accessory pack. So you have, the bed of barbed wire or whatever they used, and daft little weapons like that. So at least has a bit of substance to it.
It's a very Jax thing to do, is what I will say, is that of re-releasing the same figures and the same accessories in different packs and all sorts, which also Joe Pedal used to work for Jax. It makes sense, but yeah, very, very Jax of them.
It is. It's getting more like Jax every single day.
How long before we get an AEW Titantron? Serious
Never.
question. With change the figures of little metal pieces on their feet. And a follow bit of news from the AEW FanFest, unless I've missed a couple, is the Sting Buddy. Also had the ring to cover in a second, Johnny. I can see you looking at me there. But yeah, the Sting Buddy will cover first. And to add to the previous reveals that we had, a Luchasaurus, Darby Allin, Cody, and Kenny Omega, we have a Sting one to add to there, which is quite a fun little acquisition.
Didn't see it, I'm afraid, but makes sense to do a Sting one. Good choice.
Yeah, it's just a current day Sting. It's sort of like the old WCW one they used to have. Yeah, we had the ring revealed as well, the Smiths exclusive with the Hangman page for all you scalpers out there.
It's not going to be a scalp as much as the Cody one because the figure is a direct re-release, I believe. Is that right? Is it the same as Series 5?
Series 5, yeah.
So yeah, it's not going to be as much in demand, but there will be some people in the US that wanted, mint in box. So there's going to be some demand, but not as much. Because everyone was wanting the figure rather than the ring on the last go around.
Have we missed the blooded Britt Baker?
We have. The Blood and Guts Britt Baker. It's a ringside exclusive as well. Just the heads were revealed for that, but I'm guessing we should be wearing the attire from the Lights Out match with Thunder Rosa.
Is that just going to be her, or is it going to be a 2-pack? Do we know?
Just her.
Just Britt Baker on her own. For some reason, I'm not sure why they didn't want to include Thunder Rosa in there. But did Britt Baker win?
No.
No. Well, why not release a figure of it? Why not? Should we move on to Cella?
Let's.
Cella. Ooh. Adam Bomb. I was expecting one of you two to chime in when the last little sing song.
Stop.
Adam Bomb has had a radioactive glow-in-the-dark figure released. It's about outside the box. I'm quite a fan of it, though, if I'm honest. Adam, let's come to you on this.
Do you know what? 9 times out of 10, if you'd come to me on this kind of thing, I'd go, oh my God, what are they doing? Such a childish thing. I hate it, but I love it. It's really good. I don't know why. I love Adam Bomb anyway, but it's such a good idea to match his character. And yeah, I'm going to be purchasing it, and I think I'm going back to my childhood.
Mostly took the words right out of my mouth of that one. If ever there was going to be one that glows in the dark, it is going to be Adam Bomb. What a perfect choice to do that. Brilliant.
It's great. And fingers crossed we can get like a glow-in-the-dark pen and get Brian Clark, friend of the podcast, Brian Clark, to sign it, because that'd be awesome. Yeah, lovely figure, lovely looking figure. I think Tippy's done well on designing the figure as well. So hats off to him. as we released the last episode of the podcast, we had the Big Daddy reveal, which I slipped the picture into the video. Any of you guys saw, any of you eagle-eyed viewers saw. But yeah, Big Daddy reveal, which looks fantastic. Johnny, let's come to you first on Big Daddy.
What an easy pick to make, and it looks fantastic. I'm so happy to see these guys in line. I've already said that in the last podcast, but it opens that door, and it looks great. Chella are really doing it better than Zombie Sailor, in my opinion, at this point. And yeah, they need to catch up, and especially with the price point that Zombie's at.
Yeah, classic attire. It looks as good as I think anyone could have expected it to look. It's quite a simple figure. You've got to get the body shape right. But it's quite a simple figure. As long as they nail the face on it, then it'll be brilliant.
And with a removable hat and coat as well. Delightful.
I didn't know that. That's spot on. Just before we leave, Chella, it was something I was saying in our group chat, and I thought it's worth bringing up, is that they kind of are releasing these in drips and drabs, whereas they're not releasing a full series at a time. So you're having to spend your postage each and every time you order the figure, even though they're all pre-orders. So if Chella are like listening to customers, which apparently have been doing, it would be good if they could release all on the same day for pre-orders. So, and they're all released at the same time, because it seems a bit of a disconnect to have one figure coming out, at one point, and then 3 months later the next one, and also not really know when they're coming out. So it's a bit confusing.
Could it be anything to do with funds, do you think? That they have to kind of get a bit of an order of one before they go on to the other? Maybe we'll get it when they get a bit more money, if you know what I mean.
I would say that, but if you look at Zombie Sailor, I'm guessing he doesn't have a lot of money himself to put these into production, but he does the pre-order for the one series, then cuts it off, then that order's done. And I would like
we still haven't seen any of those yet, let's face that fact. Whereas we have with the Chella.
This is not the point I'm making, Adam. So you threw me off completely now. Thanks for that.
Yeah, I agree with this, with what you mean, Johnny. I think if it'd be easier to buy one whole series and pay for shipping once than it would be to pay for shipping 5 times, which is an extra 20 quid, which is a whole figure.
It is. It's adding 4 quid onto each figure, or whatever the postage charge is, which is not ideal in most situations.
Or even if it is like a cost-based thing, maybe if they had an option to put it to one side, maybe, and then wait until certain ones are released. But maybe down the line. I'll have a chat with them. I'll DM them.
Yeah, tell Brian as well. He might pass it on.
Yeah, we'll do. And final from Chella, we had today actually revealed the big Stevie Cool figure. Have you guys seen this? Very exciting to have a big Stevie Cool figure to match Abu Meanie from the BWO. Adam, let's come to you first.
Yeah, I mean, we all suspected that it was going to happen. When we talked about Meanie, we said, well, I think I said that I don't think it's going to be that popular. It's going to end up on the secondary market a lot unless they get the other two. So we've got step 2 involved here. From a personal aspect, Stevie Richards is probably in my top 10 ever wrestlers. So absolutely brilliant news for me, and the greatest persona that he had as well.
I never watched much of ECW's. Certainly didn't see Blue World Order, but these are going to make really good figures because of the t-shirts and obviously the blue and the blue meaning. And I do love a bit of Stevie Richards myself, so I'm happy for him and happy for us.
Stevie Richards is the epitome of giving everything 100%. Every gimmick that he ever did, 100% he gave to it, and I think he did well to get it over. Anything from this to being Victoria's manager, remember, in sort of the early 2000s, even stood out for that with me as well. And that's it for news, boys. Anyone got anything to bring up? Adam, let's come to you for non-figure related news for the love of wrestling.
Yeah, we're just Who is John? I want to go.
Oh, give me a chance, because we haven't, or did we talk about the render that came out for, what's he called, Nick Gage?
Yeah, we discussed Nick Gage.
No, I think we discussed that as getting a figure, but they've released the picture of it.
Oh, I thought that we've already discussed too much about it. We've discussed about the picture. But yeah, we had the render reveal with the pizza cutter in hand, didn't we?
Yes, which is what I was sort of alluding to in the standards, the quality of Cella versus Zombie Sailor. And there's something wrong with the arms on all of these figures for the Zombie Sailor. They are huge. They're like Mr. Tickle. And I don't know if that's been addressed at all by Zombie, whether it's going to be in the final product or not, but the drawings, the renders, the prototypes, they've all got really ridiculously long arms. If you're going to pay 40 quid for a figure, you'd expect something like that to be sorted out.
Or just good. I think you expect it to be good as a minimum to expect. But I said they're more like expensive statues rather than figures, though, aren't they? If you look at the other Zombie Sailor ones.
They're called wrestling figures. They should be wrestling.
We know this, but I don't think the articulation's going to be there. I don't think the playability is going to be there. You see it a lot with Super 7. They look fantastic in the box, but once you get them out, you can't play with them. So I think that's the way that these sort of toys are going nowadays, is that they're not actually toys, they're statues representing toys.
You've completely misread what I've said as well. Because
no, I haven't. I know what you mean. It's just I've gone to put my 2 pence in for a different matter.
Yeah, you've gone off on a tangent to something completely different. Never mind. Let's move on to Adam's news. Come on, hit us.
Yeah, just for the love of wrestling, we've had another major announcement of who's going to be there, and it's kind of the first current star that's going to be there, which is Braun Strowman or Adam Scherr. So yeah, me and Jamie had a very quick discussion just before this pod started on the fact that we spoke on a previous pod that WWE were bringing something into their contracts about not being able to sign their character name. So I'm guessing, my guess is that Strowman won't have signed that contract because he'll have had a previous one. But is he going to be the first person that's not allowed to sign his name?
Never thought about that. It will be interesting to see. But I think these guys, I don't think there's going to be much legal recourse for them. And I don't even think WWE would pursue it. Doesn't make like financial sense to say, oh, Braun Strowman's been signing. Sorry, Adam's been signing as Braun Strowman. Let's go get him. Pointless.
But they would. They do seem a bit petty about that sort of thing. I think that it's not worth the risk for a lot of them.
Probably not worth the money to go after him.
It's in their contract. Breaching a contract, do they? But it'd be interesting to see. Obviously, me and Adam will be there, so we won't ask him because I'm sure he's probably busy at the time. But be interesting to see what he does sign it as.
But who's going to want a Braun Strowman figure signed by Adam Scherr?
No one is. That's the whole point.
That's what WWE are going for.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pathetic. Petty. That's what it is. Anyone got any more news before we move on?
No.
No? Lovely stuff, boys. Let's move on to some pick-me-ups then, shall we?
Sure.
Be back at us there. Pick-me-ups time. Now we're looking at all of our latest pick-ups since the latest episode of the podcast. Let's fire across to Adam.
That's me. I had a little trip to Smith's a few days ago. First time I've been for a while. Spent quite a decent bit of money considering I usually spend £0 in Smith's. So the first one I got for myself is the Chase Triple H, D-Generation X version of Triple H. We've spoke before about the trousers, tights, whatever, not being quite right. There is an element of metallic to it if you really try and find it. But yeah, they're not quite right. Facial wise, it's a great figure. DX shirt's nice. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's a nice one. I think people will be chasing this one.
It's certainly better than the purple one. And spoiler alert, you pick one up for me too, so I might as well mention that. There's no point waiting for the next episode. And yes, that's the one I wanted out of both these. Obviously, if the purple one was done right, that would have been fantastic. But as it stands, the red one does look better.
We discussed before, didn't we, that Jax managed to perfect the colour on it back in '98, and Mattel was still trying, which is just weird.
Yep, that's why I give you that as an underrated figure.
It was. Remember that segment? That was good. Is that it for that round, Adam?
Yep.
Let's go on to me then. So we mentioned him before. Big shout out to Brian Tippin Jr., who arrived today, actually. It's lucky we're recording on the Monday. But he does the buddies. I managed to pick up a Mr. Perfect buddy from Brian. It's fantastic. That's what it is. Toyetic as anything. That was quite nice. It's going to sit on my bed. All lovely. I was waiting for you to come home then, but that sounds a bit cynical, doesn't it? Yeah, Mr. Perfect buddy.
Looks smashing from like the front and the back. What's going on down the sides? Can you explain that one?
Well, I guess it's just from what he has to sew together.
Right.
Can't really become perfect, can it?
Well, it's supposed to be perfect.
Is. But yeah, I say all in all, it's quite a good one. He's so message him about some future ones that might be getting released. I won't say what they are, just in case he wants to reveal them himself. But he said that he still had a Shawn Michaels and some Mr. Perfects left, so we have to pick one of these up.
Are they slightly smaller than the other buddies then?
Yeah, they're not the same size as the WWE ones. They're I'd say about 11 inches, 12 inches.
I like the face. It's very Shane Douglas-esque as well, the face. It's like a cross between Perfect and Douglas.
Yeah. I think the face, the look of it's really good. Yeah, so we've done a cracking job there.
Honestly, the detail on it is amazing. The back of the Mr. P on the back of the boots there. You got the IC title on the front, sort of veins and his towel over his shoulder there as well. So yeah, all in all, very, very good. I look forward to future ones being released of these bad boys. But message Brian Tippin. Who wants one?
Right, so I'll move on to the first one of mine, and I picked these up loose from Adam's friend Jeff Taylor. I seen that he had it on eBay, so I'll give him a nudge and see if we can start a deal by his Facebook. It's one I used to buy from before, but I kind of turned him down on a few deals that I kicked myself to this day about. So I thought I'll take him up on the offer now, and I picked up DDP from Legends Series 10. So this is the first one I've seen on eBay, and I just bought it on eBay because I didn't want to miss out. And as far as the DDP figure goes, from that era, I don't think it can get any better. I was always wondering about the earpiece. I've only just literally opened out which bag it came from, so should we see if it's removable? I don't want to pull it too much in case it's meant to be.
Just
do it.
Do it in your own time.
It's removable. It comes with a peg in the ear.
That's good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yes, very happy to pick that one because it's going to skyrocket. I haven't seen it available on eBay in the US at all, so I had to take the offer while it was there. And I did pick up a couple of others. We'll get round to that next time.
That figure looks absolutely quality. I mean, it's not one for me, but it looks perfect. The detail on the jacket as well looks absolutely amazing. I don't know why these seem to have been released in such limited quantities, but it is absolutely skyrocketing already on eBay, that one. You're looking at paying £100 for the boxed version already. I don't get it myself, but it just looks brilliant.
I think it could be because they aren't all fully released yet. I've got a feeling that there's going to be a large shipment that comes into Target at some point because they've all been sold online so far, I believe.
It's the
yeah,
I mean, there's certain thing. I mean, same with the Brock Ultimate Edition. So that was very scarce, wasn't it? And no one's overly sure why it's so scarce. But the beefcake and the DDP from Series 10 just seem to be nowhere. Is it Vader and Cena also in that series? Because they're out, aren't they? They're already hitting the secondary market.
The Cena you can get for, the normal price. People are struggling to sell those.
Yeah.
This Vader's not too far behind either, to be honest. They seem to be quite readily available still.
Very strange. Maybe we'll have some answers down the line when they'll release loads more with loads of Ultimate Edition rocks, probably just after I get one.
Good luck.
Watch this space.
All right, carry on.
Adam, back to you.
Another one from my venture to Smiths. It's actually better than I thought it was, which is the Kazarian AEW SCU version. Very, very miserable face on Kazarian. I probably would have preferred him with a bit of a smile, but I guess it fits him with his worst town I've ever been in gimmick. The belt's pretty nice, the AEW tag belt. I was shocked how nice it was when you look at the women's belts and things like that. Smiths, for some reason, ordered Kazarian, but not Scorpio Sky. I do have Scorpio Sky coming, though, from a different avenue.
Looks good. Sorry, Jamie.
I was going to say, I think Scorpio Sky seems to be the scarce one of the series. They did the same with the Jacksons, the Young Bucks, didn't they, for the series 1 and 3, when one was more readily available than the other.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll sort itself out soon anyway. Is he on the website? Is he coming? Probably, I guess.
I don't think his picture was on the website last time I checked.
Oh, it is. Yeah, I looked. Yeah, because the same thing happened to Lucha Brothers as well, didn't it? Do you remember?
Yes, you're right. Rey Fenix turned up a lot later. Yes.
And now look at him. Yeah. Can't move for Rey Fenix's now, can you, on the Facebook groups? From the Ashes. Let's take a trip to BCA Town, shall we, boys? So only a quick one. So there's Wrestling Megastore. Big shout out to them. I had a conversation with Craig of Wrestling Megastore and managed to get this sorted, but it's a best of 98, right, said Fred. Sorry, no. DOA 8-ball figure. I'm missing Skull. Skull only come with Crush in a 2-pack, so I need to pick those up. But I need to get him opened up and sent through. For some reason, with bald wrestlers on Jack's BC, they always have this little black mark on top of their head. The headbangers have it as well. Weird.
Do you not have a bit of hair at that time, or?
No, it's completely bald as a coup. He was.
I always wondered about some of the BCA's releases. I always thought Skull and Ape-Ball were being released together, but aren't they just the same figure? Really, is there any difference?
Not massively. I mean, obviously, face-wise, they are a bit different, but not massively. Yeah, no, it's not massive.
I was going to say exactly the same thing. When I was younger, I hated the fact that happened, that Skull and 8-Ball weren't together and Skull was with Crush or whatever. I just didn't get it. As an adult now, I can look back and think, oh, well, yeah, it would have been a bit bland and a bit boring for them two to be together, so I get it now.
It's sort of like when they released the Bashams together, isn't it? Albeit the Bashams weren't.
Owen and Jarrett.
Yeah, the same figure. I also got another figure, which is not a lucrative one. It's not sought after, but it's my favourite of this person. It's X-Pac. My favourite incarnation of the X-Pac figure is this one. It's one I had as a child. I just thought I'd share. There's only a couple of quid, but my favourite X-Pac figure was this one.
It's all right. You're wrong, though. The red and black one's much better.
So I've got the red and black one. I opened one last week for my display. So obviously you can only have one of each figure. So I've got the red and black one. That's the one I'm using for my display. But this is a close... I'm going to have to use this one. I'm taking the red and black one down. Because then this one pops a lot more, the Signature Series one.
I think I'm with you on the attire. I think that the green with the black trim is my favorite version of X-Pac. And if I was going to say they're going to release another X-Pac, I would probably pick that version as well.
I've got the red one, which I've opened from his box last week, but this one's going to win it for me, Adam, unfortunately. It's been to Craig from Wrestling Megastore. Hopefully get him on for an interview at some point in life because he's a sound chap. Johnny, back to you.
Yeah, as you alluded to earlier about the scarcity of DDP, I also did pick up the Brutus Beefcake. So this is the non-chased version with the yellow pants. Comes with a tag title. So the tag title is very disappointing, actually. I didn't realize they weren't shiny. They're pretty much the basic ones in the silver with a bit of paint on. So it's not like the old releases of the WWF title that came with the Heart Foundation. They are dull, which is disappointing. And of course, I picked up the Chase as well. There he is in the blue. So completely complete with Series 10 of the Legends. And Adam has picked it up too. Tell us all about it, Adam.
It's amazing. Its likeness in the face is absolutely spot on. Absolutely brilliant figure. The soft good is really good. It's going to last. It's not one that's going to wear away. I just like the attire, to be honest, because being a mid to late 80s fan, I think this is the best version of Beefcake. I was going to have a big old rant about this belt as well. I'm really disappointed in it. I need the one. There has been one silver one released, right? That's shiny. It definitely came with some. No, it was in that 5-pack of belts.
Yeah.
So I need to get 2 of them. I can't deal with this one. This is awful.
Yeah, I remember waiting all year for them to be like on sale and ringside, and they never happened and sold out, and I never picked them up, unfortunately. I'm not. Was it definitely a shiny one?
Yeah.
Destiny was, yeah. I'll try and track a couple of them down in there. I don't know whether mine come with sunglasses. I can't seem to find them, but I have kind of just opened them all over the place. It's meant to come with shades, right?
They're very standard sunglasses.
Yeah. Interesting. I'll have to have a proper look because I've just literally emptied them out of the bags they came in. So I may find them, I may not.
Wait and see, won't we? It's exciting. Shout out to WrestleBox, who finally had Ultimate Warrior, a Ringside Collectibles exclusive, arrive. I think it took longer than Ultimate Warrior's run did around this time to arrive. But yeah, good figure, Ringside Collectibles exclusive. Nothing else to say about it, really. I think everyone seems to have had one already.
Are you trying to rub it in? Sorry, knowing that I don't have mine from WrestleBox yet. You baited me into that one.
No, Jerry wasn't. I didn't realise that you'd ordered it. I'll send you that one if you want. Not as attracted to the first one, sorry.
I think it's class, that figure. I think the more times I look at it, the better it gets. It's a really good figure.
Well, one thing also, I've got an Ultimate Warrior BCA on the way, which is also just depicting of the same match with the blue attire. So they'll look good together.
Yep. If I ever get it, I might tell you how I think.
Adam, let's come to you again. Or that's Johnny. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'll go. That's fine. This is the final one from me today, which is the final pickup from Smith's. Thought I'd leave it until last, with it being the collector's edition, which is the Colonel Mustafa. I've got a bit of a bone to pick with this figure. So my thinking was that it didn't have the medals or the flag on, the soft goods, because obviously they didn't want to be honest. But it has it on the picture depicted on the front of the box, which means they are willing to use it and they are willing to put it on. And that has ruined the figure for me. And I don't understand why they've done it. I mean, it's a bit of a weird figure anyway. The soft goods don't look good, to be honest. His top bit is way too short. I'm hoping that it's due to it being rolled up in the back or something. It's just a bit of a, I don't know, it's a nothing figure, unfortunately. I was looking forward to much better.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. That soft goods doesn't look good. in fact, when I get it, I'm going to display it without the shirt on, I think. And I may even do a head swap because he didn't look like that and he wouldn't smile during that era either. So it's the wrong stand to use on him as well. The mustache is too thick also. So a bit of a head swap and take the coat off and we might have a half decent figure.
He's got those legs that are prone to wobbling as well, and they've separated them completely in the box, which means you leave one of these in the box for too long, it's going to be jelly legs.
Interesting to see. Are you opening that soon?
Yes, I will be opening this one, so I will report back to you.
Please do.
Should we pop across back over to me?
Yes.
Lovely stuff. So I got my Chalkline jacket this week, which is, as we saw on our Instagram, it's the Bret the Hitman Hart Chalkline jacket. I'm not a massive Hitman fan, but whenever these come up on eBay, the Chalklines, I always like to pick them up. And they look good quality jacket. You can wear it to work, wear it to the beach, the park, local restaurants. What's your guys' views on the Chalkline jackets?
I love the Chalkline jackets. I've got one myself. That one, the colours aren't right for Bret, in my opinion. It's not the right shade of pink. If it was more of a light pink, it might have been a little bit better. But as it stands, it's not really for me. I know he kind of wore it briefly, maybe with that Survivor Series 96 with the orange tint, but stop getting Bret wrong.
Very Mattel.
I really like the design. It's not as garish as some of the other chalk lines, such as the one behind me here. And it is something that you could possibly wear out. So, yeah, nice.
I do wear them out. I think when you first, when you sort of first get out, I got the ice cream one first of all. And I was like, I'll never wear this out of the house. And then when you first wear it out of the house, you then get a bit more used to it. And I now wear it out everywhere I pretty much go.
Still haven't wore the pink Bret Hart one out yet.
Oh, what are you worried about?
I don't know if I'm worried or I just forgot about I had it. Maybe I'll have to do that soon.
Well, it's perfect for the summer, truth be told, especially this sort of September weather where it could be sunny, it could be a bit miserable. So it works well for those sorts of weather because the jacket itself isn't that thick, which means that it's never going to get that hot in it. And it's also nice and warm if it does pick up.
Fair enough.
And if you're interested in a salesman Chalkline, give me a shout. Back to you, Johnny. Oh, sorry, just to clarify, I also got this Legion of Hasbro t-shirt given to me by Lee ST, who won it in the last quiz. Just thought I'd give them a mention of the t-shirt.
Not bad to wear around the house.
Hey, I'll wear this out. I'm going to the Chinese to pick up some chips or something next door. I'll wear this in there. Normally, no.
You've got Chinese next door?
Yeah, got Chinese.
Living the dream.
I am. Yeah, all the time. But they don't take card, which is a.
Cash out.
The nearest cash point's about half a mile away. It's Cornwall. Nothing's convenient around here.
Oh well. Well, this was convenient when Mike Sands also sent you this, which is Kevin Owens from Series 4 of the Retros. So this is the only one I needed on card to complete the collection, really. There is still some that are a little bit, I don't want to say damaged, but not as good on card. This one's really nice, and it was a cracking price. So thanks to Mike for that, and Jamie for passing it on.
Passing it on?
Yeah, I passed it on. Let's not mention that, though.
Well, let's mention it because it's funny. So Johnny was like, "Oh, why don't you send me a pasty in the post?" And how many times have I said I'm not sending a pasty in the post?
I don't know. You just said I'll send you a pasty. I was like, all right then.
Because I never end of it otherwise. But so I sent the pasty. I sent it on a Saturday because that's the only time I get to go to town when the post office is open, which means it was delivered on a Monday. I checked with the woman in the pasty shop and said, "Will this be all right? Send the post for Monday." And she was like, "Yeah, it's fine." So off it went in the post, first class. And then who wasn't there to get the delivery?
The post has been completely ridiculous around here. I don't know when it's coming, and I'm sick of waiting in for it. And yes, it was. I didn't really even want to find out if it was any good. I just put it straight in the bin when it arrived on the Wednesday. But
you could have had grease marks all over your Owens figure.
Luckily, I don't know how it survived actually, because he packed the pasty on top of the figure as well. So I don't know how it's still in good condition.
Because you use the pasty as protection. I bubble wrap the pasty, I bubble wrap the figure.
Pasty protection.
Pasty Protection Agency. But yeah, it would have been fun. But order one online. There's delivery services, as I sent to Adam.
Yeah, it was a bad idea. I don't know whether it would last, like say you post on a Monday to get it Tuesday. Would it last, 24 hours? Maybe. But anything over that, I think we're already in the shit.
I would have eaten it.
Yeah, I definitely would have eaten it. Send it to me now, I'll still eat it.
It's in the bin. Long bin.
Right, so should we move on to the In Your House pickups and Legion of Hasbro, shall we?
Yes.
Speaking of the group. In Your House is basically Dan Bassett hosts it on the Legion of Hasbro Facebook group. The sellers then come on and from the Facebook group and then sell whatever stuff they have. It ranges from anything from loose Hasbros all the way up to some goodies that this Mohammed Shafi had. So each time you win off Mohammed Shafi, claim an item, it goes to a wheel. You have a choice. You buy 2 spins of the wheel for 15 quid. You can get anything from key rings, which I won, all the way up to Series 8 Yokozuna, which Wayne Petered won. So Johnny, let's have a look at yours first, and see what you picked up.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to say a shout out to Mohammed for coming up with this idea, because I think it's genius almost. It makes you want to claim an item just so you can get a spin on that little wheel to see what you might win. Speaking of the wheels, I did have 3 goes at it, and I didn't really win. I just picked up a Earthquake, Rick Rude, and Greg Valentine on those. So not bad. I might be able to one day turn them into another £8 each, but might be a few years on that. But what I did claim was, first off, was Ultimate Edition Bret Hart at a cracking price of £65. A little bit of superficial damage on the top here, but that's about it really. And obviously a mint figure, you'll be paying more for that loose, I think. So I'm really happy to pick that up, especially if I'm still debating whether I'm going to go down the route of collecting some more Bret Hart in box figures.
We had a conversation just after, Johnny, didn't we? And we said obviously with it, what you do is type the word claim and you have to type in the amount of claim. So to stay ahead of the game, we had the same little game plan where you type claim in and then the first number of what you think it was going to be. And I had a 7 already typed out for Brex. I figured it's got at least 75, maybe 80. But yeah, crazy at £65.
And you gave our game plan away to the rest of the group. Well done, Jamie.
Everyone had the same thing. Everyone I've spoken to is exactly the same plan.
Anyone with a brain, I guess. Yeah.
Well, my first pickup was the Legends Eddie Guerrero. Once again, a very good price, £26. I think I paid for this one. Remember rightly? Yeah. A very good price. On the wheel, I didn't do so well. I got a worst rated Hasbro in retro in Shawn Michaels. That's my worst rated one anyway. And
I would prefer that.
A Skinner who I haven't got yet, a Berserker who I haven't got, a couple of key rings, and a Retro Mankind.
I think the Skinner's worth a lot more than £8. And to be honest, I wouldn't mind getting a couple of key rings. They were quite unique.
Skinner's been drawn on a bit.
Yeah.
Actually, still works fine though. But the key ring's quite fun. I'll send you a key ring next time it comes up. I had Road Warrior, Animal, and an Undertaker one.
Bad. So was that the first one you picked up? Because I only caught like the last bit of it, and I think I seen you claim that one. So did you get anything before that?
I did. So this was probably my favourite bargain of the night. See if you can guess how much I paid for this.
Oh, I did see you do that. It was 18, not 16, was it?
16.
Yeah.
16
Yep.
quid for the...
I was going to get the other one, but I got pipped to it. So
Yeah, Scott Schofield got the other one. But yeah, I mean, this is one I didn't think I'd own because I think it's roughly around 30, 35 quid at the moment. But yeah, nice figure to have.
yeah, I think I paid a lot more than that. I think I paid around 35 quid or something, only from America at the time as well. So
It'll go nice
got
with a
massive bargain there.
it'll go nice with an Ultimate Edition Rock.
Speaking of massive bargains, so we had claimed 3 wrote in already, and it would claim it was actually 25 quid for Flashback Stone Cold Steve Austin from that elusive series 3 with the Bill Shawn Michaels, and of course the Harley race in the same series.
It was 20. It was 20.
20, was it? Was it not 25?
It was just a flat 20.
But yeah, even better than I thought. But,
I need to start watching this.
You do.
I know, like, to be honest, it was the first time I've ever seen it, and I was thoroughly both entertained and picked up some really good stuff. So I don't know how the first bit of the claim sale went, but I certainly enjoyed the end of it.
There's many customs at the start, but yeah, I think the customs that have been on display are delightful. I think you would have been in your element, Adam, with the customs on display. I also picked up an Ultimate Fiend. This was 30 quid. Ultimate Fiend. Ultimate editions are starting to grow on me a bit in the box. The one thing that I might keep in the box going forward, because I've got about 5 or 6 now. So, Ultimate Fiend, as well as Ultimate John Cena, which is, I think it's 30 again.
Somewhere around there, maybe 35.
Maybe 35. But yeah, once again, really good figure. The Ultimate John Cena.
Let's just admit you didn't care what the price was. You were buying anyway, so you can get in that spinny wheel.
Oh, definitely. It got the better of me. I was a bloody addict. Should have seen me. Eyes lit up. Sat in the dark room. Yeah, I mean, certain things. Like if he put up a mock Hasbro or something that I wasn't really massively interested in collecting, then I wouldn't have. There's a few things that I didn't do on purpose. There's a Seth Rollins fan takeover one for 16 quid, I think. Stuff like that I'm not really that bothered in, but stuff like that will actually fit into my collection, then
yeah,
I will get.
That's worth a watch.
Yes, definitely. But I think we're all skint now, aren't we?
I've still got some money, but I've got nothing else to show you.
Yes, exactly. Right, so let's move on to our break it down segment then, boys, shall we?
Do it.
Let's do this.
Break it down.
Just when you think WWE are on their own, there's no challenges to them. AEW come out of nowhere and completely shock the wrestling world as we know it. Boys, one thing I want to discuss for this break it down segment, being the rise of AEW, would be the recent boom of what we've seen for AEW and a nice ton of events. So, Johnny, if we come to you with the first question. So, in your opinion, AEW, is that the biggest threat to WWE since WCW?
That, my friend, is a no-brainer. Of course, the answer is yes. TNA Impact has probably been the closest one before this, who really didn't get anywhere near them. AEW have come with a lot of stars and a lot of money, and they're able to challenge WWE. And it's just got stronger and stronger over the past year or so. So yes, it's absolutely the biggest threat WWE have had since the 90s.
Adam, same question to you. Obviously, Johnny's already answered with the obvious yes, but
it's the same answer really. I think you've got to mention TNA in your answer because there's a hell of a lot of similarities between AEW and TNA. If you look at the kind of 2010 TNA run, where you'd got the old timers joining in, you got Hogan, Flair, Booker T, Steiner, and then you've got Christian and Angle, who were the kind of big defects over there. You can see very similarities in this. You've got AEW, you've got the old timers, Big Show, Mark Henry, and then you've got the kind of up and comers, your Aleister Black. You've got your old timer in Christian Cage. You've got Miro as one of the up and comers, and then they hit you with Punk. And we'll talk about that, I'm sure, quite a lot in this segment. But there is a bit of a difference between TNA and AEW, which I'll go into in my other answers. It's not just money, I don't think.
No, there's certainly something about it. It's a bit of je ne sais quoi, should we say. That's a bit of a spark for it. So next question, John, we come to you first, this one. So, turning point for AEW. So obviously we said before, it's been around for 2 years now, Dynamite has been anyway. But recently they've ramped it up. I mean, what's been the big turning point?
I don't think there's been a major turning point. It just seemed to have gone, this way upwards, where WWE have gone the other way downwards. Or maybe a point where they've come together is where the turning point maybe was. But obviously, as one big event, you've got to think in the last, 3 weeks with the debut of Punk and then Adam Cole and Daniel Bryan. So this moment in time now is the turning point, you would say, if AEW does overtake WWE. And in fact, I think they have overtook in the key demo. So they've got more watchers of Dynamite in the key demo than Raw have.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing with the key demo, which they discussed quite a lot in the early days, is that people like us, we're essentially the key demo, aren't we? We're the target audience of wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it counts for too much, especially when WWE are targeting kids as well. So I would say whoever is getting the most viewers overall is still got the better of that, even if AEW is more in the key demo. I don't think it means too much, but I just thought it was worth mentioning.
So Adam, back on the turning point, is obviously the Punk debut for you. Is that the biggest thing that's happened to AEW?
Yeah, 100%. I think if we're talking turning points in people's minds, I think AEW's had 2 significant turning points in people's minds. First one being the original Double or Nothing. I think everyone heard Cody Rhodes, heard the books. A lot of people didn't like the books and the kind of people from the elite. And they thought, oh, here's another one. Here's another TNA. Gonna, try and take over. It's not gonna happen. And then Double or Nothing hit the first one, and it was an absolutely cracking show. Cody just proved himself. The Cody Dustin match was absolutely amazing, and that was a huge turning point in my eyes, especially I was there, and in a lot of people's eyes, to think actually this could be something, which might have made them tune in for a bit longer. And then this one recently with Punk and All Out, just on another level. As soon as you include CM Punk in that is on another level. You can have as many Christian Cages, Mark Henrys, big shows, but as soon as you bring somebody like Punk back, which the fans have been waiting and waiting and waiting for, you've just hit new heights there. The money does help. I think the in-between bits, like Jono says, it's not a case of there being absolute cracking turning points. AEW is very slowly going like that in people's minds over those 3 years in between those 2 events. And WWE is going like that in people's minds very slowly over those events. And the 2 of those happening just increases AEW's chances.
One thing I'll point out for AEW is obviously the big stars that they have come in. So, as you said before, the CM Punks, the Stings, and the Omegas and the Bucks and so on. But the young guys for the roster, which I think is going to be a focal point for them. But if you look at the likes of Sammy Guevara, I'll point out, he's only had 6 matches on Dynamite this year, which is shocking. If you look at the stats for that, and you have Brian Cage has only had, I think, 4 matches. Powerhouse Hobbs had 3 matches. And Ricky Starks obviously has been injured. But is there a way that they can avoid misusing the young talent as well as putting forward the big names, really?
They're going to have to find that, equal balance. and I'm not sure how they'll do that. I think the good thing is that CM Punk isn't rushing to fight guys like Omega yet. He's went with Darby Allin to start with. It looks like he's going to go on to the members of Team Taz next. So I think if you're going to keep those young guys relevant, putting them in with guys like CM Punk or even Christian is going to keep them, involved and also making them improve in the ring and out of it.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the key thing for the company, isn't it? It's just keep building up the confidence of the younger guys, of the single stars, as well as the tag teams like Brian Pillman Jr., who I think they missed a big opportunity with him for the Darks in the Ring episode, whereas now he's coming a bit more prominent with Dynamite as well. So it's good to see on those. So things for AEW to avoid in the future, Adam. So as a wrestling fan, what are the things that you don't want to see happen in the future for AEW?
So the tiny little one is mentioning WWE. I don't want to see that. I don't want to hear it. I don't want them to talk about the competition, especially during events and live shows. I think that's a little thing for me, but I think it's quite important for me as a wrestling fan. I want them to concentrate on their products and ignore everything WWE. The more they mention WWE, the more they're thinking about it. I think a lot of the matches, as high quality as they are very, very predictable, the matches. I know you've got your shows like Dark and things, which you expect to be predictable, which is fine. I get that. But your main events, your big events, even your Dynamites are very, very predictable at the moment. And as much quality as they have, and if they have a cracking match, fine, it's predictable, but it's a cracking match. But if it isn't cracking, like a lot of the women's division up until the last couple of months has been absolutely terrible. And the fact that it's all predictable on top of that doesn't help at all. And the very last thing of my 3 points is kind of what we've touched on a little bit here, but it's the roster. If we look at the Fantasy Wrestling League AEW side of the roster, which is just the people that have been 100% signed contracts, there's 106, I think, at the moment, which is way too many. You are going to get the people that are appearing all the time happy. You are going to get the up-and-comers like your Brian Pillman and people like that happy. And then you're going to get this void in the middle of people that are gradually becoming a bit more concerned about their position, such as we've seen Brian Cage this week, where his wife's come out and said he's not being used properly. You want to avoid that as much as you can if you're AEW.
Yeah, definitely.
I totally agree on the roster. Is the one thing I was thinking about myself. You probably need to look at releases. I know as much as that's what turned people away from WWE, AEW can't continue to keep hiring and hiring while not releasing any talent, because you're going to get guys that are not being used, like Brian Cage or whatever. But at least they can sort of keep busy on these internet shows. In the Dark, you have that 40 matches or something crazy. So at least there's still that avenue. They're not on TV, but they're on YouTube. They're on the internet, which everyone can still see them. They're improving. They are, building their experience, and there is little elements of storytelling within those shows as well. So it's not like they don't have anything to do. So it's not too bad there. The predictability, I'd like to comment on. Maybe you're right, maybe you're not. Sometimes, I think with a couple of matches, maybe all out, let's just say the Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers. I could have thought that would go either way, whereas you said it might have been predictable for the Luchas to win it. I definitely don't think it was, predictable. I did have a little punt on the Lucha Brothers winning, and they did. But that wasn't predictable. But you can say there was no way Christian was beating Omega. I actually thought Eddie Kingston was maybe going to take it during the match, not before the match, but during the match. It looked like he was going to win. So even if you think it is a foregone conclusion before the match, watching the match can make you instantly think, oh, this could go another way. So there's that element to it.
Would be a good finishing move, name that. why do some fans feel that it's either WWE or AEW? So you get like some people that are very much just one side, or black or white, basically, which I've never really understood. Obviously, I think I had a stage in 2010 where I was watching WWE and I was watching TNA. But you get fans now that are just either WWE or AEW. What's the divide? Adam, let's come to you first on.
It's not one that I can 100% answer this, because it's not me, if you know what I mean. So I don't actually know how their mindsets are going. Wrestling is wrestling. I view each character on their own merits, on their own morals. And I'm not really bothered whether they are in AEW or WWE. I view it on the match quality that they have, on the mic quality that they have. So I don't get it. You do get diehard fans of each, but there's no reason to be like that for me. So I'm afraid I can't give you an answer on that one.
Well, you just have.
While I completely agree in that I don't get it, I'm still going to comment because it is absolutely weird that someone would maybe even break their neck to come out in a post and say, I feel dirty because I just watched AEW and I've been watching WWE all my life. That was the strangest thing I've ever seen somebody write or somebody think. It is ludicrous. It's like supporting Man United and you watch a Man City Liverpool match in a pub. How do you feel? You don't care. You just want to see maybe a good match, or you may be cheering for one against the other just so it benefits yourself. Are you going to not watch Family Guy because you've been watching Simpsons all your life? It is the strangest mentality I've ever known, and it's stupid. It makes no sense why you just wouldn't give something a try. Or even going even further into it, I suppose eating habits, drinking habits, they're all the same. I've only drank water my whole life. I'll never try orange juice.
Just sit here all day, and just where you.
Yeah, we could be bringing some all day. It's insanity. People don't do it.
Some
Another walk of life.
Yeah, it's very peculiar. I've never heard anything like this mentioned before, but some people just are diehard fans and they won't listen or watch any of the show, or they just think that AEW is not worth anything to watch, and then the people start to watch it, and then you sort of realise, and they go, well, actually, this is actually quite good. Seems to be the common consensus of it.
And added to that, people like who weren't brought up in the 90s think WCW was the worst thing ever. Like some of the guys who I go to wrestling training with, they're a generation younger than me, and they mentioned WCW or something about it, and they taught us if it's the worst thing that ever happened to wrestling, where in actual fact, the late 90s, 97, 98, they were better or equally on par, but it's revisionist history. WWE writes the history now, and I think they probably brainwashed people who were young during that era, during the ruthless aggression era, to think like that.
Yeah, definitely. And whether the Punk moment will appear in a documentary in 15, 20 years' time about this war, we'll have to wait and see, won't we? But more likely it will. So AEW at the moment, what's your favourite things that AEW are currently doing? Johnny, let's come to you first on it. What they're doing right?
They're doing right. They are doing things that WWE don't do. I think that's what they're doing right. They're an alternative. I know they do have a little bit of silliness where you maybe see the Elite or Chris Jericho doing something daft that they will probably do in WWE, but other than that, it does seem a different presentation of against WWE. So be different WWE is how it should continue.
Adam, same question over to you.
Yeah, I think my favourite bit about AEW at the moment, what they're doing right, is the more higher profile non-ex-WWE people that they're given a chance to. Your likes of, I mean, they're not homebred people because AEW's not been around that long, but your likes of Scorpio Sky, your newcomers like Thunder Rosa, your Jungle Boy, your Darby Allin is not my favourite, but you can see why he's there and why he's getting the push that he is. Your Dark Order. It's just something a little bit different, and they're giving people a chance to shine. And they're also recognising when people put the effort in, and when when the programming is improved. I mean, I talked about the women's division a bit ago not being great for a couple of months, and then you've got a couple of people come in. Ty Conti, I know she's ex-WWE, but Ty Conti and Thunder Rosa have come in, and they're a class above the others, and AEW recognise that. And they put Britt Baker in with them so Baker can improve and get better as well. And they're just recognising certain things which make their products better in the watching of matches, as well as all the hype that's going with it and all the money that they're throwing at it. They're getting the basics right.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree about the women's division. I think if you look at Chris Statlander, she's fantastic in the ring. She's up there one of the best women's wrestlers I've seen in a good while. As well as Serena Deeb. I know, Johnny, you're a fan of Serena Deeb, who's just fulfilling some other contract duties, and then she'll be back with AEW. So women's division from looks fantastic. I think the old school feel to it for me really does, like when you hear JR introduce the program as he does for the show, I think just that feeling of going back to late Attitude Era, early Ruthless Aggression, just a bit of nostalgia for me, then blended in with a new style of wrestling, which is just a very good blend of the two things, I'd say.
Yeah. If you want to say a bit more old school, there's a lot of managers as well and stables. So that is a bit of the 90s in terms of stables, and then 80s in terms of managers. So there's something for everyone, you'd say, except Jim Cornette, maybe.
Don't know. There's lots of rumours.
Yeah, he's turning. He's changed his mind. He said All Out was a good show, and yeah, blah blah blah. Punk's debut. He's said a couple of positive things lately, but it's not without the negative.
Was Tony Khan about him? So I think there's a little bit of peacemaking going on.
I think hell would have to freeze over for Jim Carter to appear on AEW.
Nah. It'll happen sooner than you think.
Mark my words.
I have to watch this. So yeah, obviously AEW have getting a bit of a buzz. This time last year we had a bit of a buzz for the AEW figures from Jazzwares. As the program from AEW seems to have got a hot trail, I think Jazzwares seems to have gone a bit of the other way and a bit more on the shelves. Now, what can they do to then get that buzz back, sort of catch on the hype train, so to speak? Adam, let's come to you.
I think we've covered a lot of it in our kind of episodes. Just your basic things. Jono mentions often that he can see why they're re-releasing people because it's cheaper at the end of the day, and they can do mass production on them and blah blah blah. They've already done the scans, but they need to get to a stage where they stop re-releasing the same people over and over and over again. And I think they're kind of getting there. You've seen the latest series with Dark Order. It's a positive step. You've seen Best Friends, some of the mid-card level people getting brought out instead of, another Moxley and another Cody and things. And just, we spoke about it in this episode, just nothing crap like the boring 2-packs that they're going to release and things. They just need to learn from these errors that they're making. There is a slump at the moment. So you can see it when you go into places like Smith's. They're all reduced already. Whereas in WWE ones, you tend to find like one out of the series will be released. Or if it's obviously been too mass produced, it'll be reduced in price. Whereas AEW, it tends to be nearly all of them now. So just need to step up with the characters.
Right. Before I give my answer on Jazzwares and the figures, you mentioned about the pandemic there and how they were released during the pandemic. Let's just say another good thing for AEW is that they did the pandemic right. They had, the wrestlers in the audience, which created an atmosphere. So at least that kept people watching during the pandemic. I don't want to go on too much more about that since we were on the figure thing, but I thought I'd mention it. So if you want, the question is how do we get that spark back? It's quite simple. There was a spark back when Series 1, Series 2 were released because there weren't many about. And suddenly there came more and more orders were coming into the country. I don't know what it was like in the United States, but it's just been an overabundance of actual products available. So people at first thought they were getting something valuable, and it felt valuable, and they wanted to collect these. But as soon as they came, more orders, more quantities, and things were coming back into the country, people realised what they had was dwindling in value rapidly. So people want to feel like they're going to get value, or at least that something to buy now is going to be worth something in the future. And if they feel that, then they're going to buy it. And if they don't feel that, they're not going to buy it. So maybe it's reduced, like Adam says. What's the point in buying a figure for 20 quid when it's going to be £10 in a couple of months?
Yeah, precisely. So all in all, yeah. To sum it up, boys, with AEW, bright future ahead of them. Good couple of years so far. I've enjoyed it, and look forward to sort of continuing this hype train of AEW.
Yeah, I'll keep watching that, but I think WWE is going to be its own worst enemy rather than the AEW becoming WWE's worst enemy.
Yeah. Yes, the old cracks are starting to show. Brilliant. So we move on to some retro review, should we, boys? Retro review time now, and I was looking at all the retro figures from all the Hasbro figures. From WF Hasbro Series 3. Johnny, let's cut across to you.
So second half of Series 3 means we're not going to really do update on the league just yet. So we'll wait to the end of the series. But I'll just let you in with a secret. We have a new leader of the board. Let's move on to the first figure, and as it says in the tights, it's the Macho Man. It's not Macho King, it's Macho Man, but he looks exactly suspiciously like the Macho King. So yes, this is exactly the same figure as the Macho King from Series 2, but with Macho Man written on the trunks, and comes without the accessories that the Macho King did. What's your thoughts on that, lad?
That's a great explanation of that one, Johnny, in case anyone was in any doubt for that. Yeah, very strange as a kid. I didn't realise that they had two different Macho Man and Macho Kings until I'd say I was easily 20 before I realised both. I'm not sure which one I had as a kid, but...
Good.
Can I just check on this one? On the Macho Man and Macho King, it has the wrist tape like in skin colour, right?
Yeah, that's right. The one that Jamie posted on...
It doesn't have them painted on any version, does it?
No, it's not painted.
Right. I was looking on Google earlier about the figures, and there was a couple that I saw that were painted, and I didn't know if it was customised or not.
Yep. We had this discussion on the Legion of Hasbro when Jamie posted a custom version of it rather than the actual one. So it was pointed out by was it?
It was Gavin.
Gavin, the moderator. Yeah.
Yeah, the one that I've got's painted as well, so I didn't realise that either.
Yeah.
Mine also had flesh-coloured knee pads.
Yes, that's right. So they come with the gold knee pads, just like the Macho King did.
Well, I was going to put just his arse up, just to show the difference, but
Probably should have from the back. Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't really think it was a fair representation of the figure.
So what about real life? Did he have wrist tape?
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't flesh colour, was it?
So that obviously brings the figure down a little bit anyway, for both.
Yeah, I think we must have mentioned it last time, surely, or maybe we forgot, but that was a big part of both the Macho Man Series 1 and Series 2, that they had wrist tape sculpted but never painted. Right.
Well, let's cut to Legion of Hasbro first. Since we mentioned him already, let's go to Gavin Delly's score. He's scored it a 5, and he says it's the poor sister of Macho King. And in this picture, his knee pad is blended totally into his leg, which reflects what was before. But yeah, I completely agree with Gavin for my score on this one. If this came out first before Macho King, it would have made a bit more sense for me. I know it wouldn't have made sense in the timeline side of things, but why release one figure that's exactly the same one before, just without the accessories? It makes zero sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. The thing is, like, an easy fix to this would be the orange trunks, like from Master Mega 5. But yeah, could have easily fixed that and released a different version.
Lazy.
If they're gonna put a different word on the back of the trunks, they might as well change the color.
Yeah.
Right, so scores.
So for me, the cream does not rise to the top on this one. I'm also going to give it a straight 5.
Generous. Adam?
Yeah, I mean, it's still a nice figure. I can't say it's an awful figure because it's not. It's still a nice figure, but there's just so much not in it that there was in the last one. So I'm going to go 5.5.
Both very generous compared to the Legion of Hasbro, which overall scored 4.12. A lot of people unforgive the re-release, and I think it was Clark that gave a 0.
Gave a
out
0.
of 10.
Gave a 0. Yeah.
Well, I think if a figure gets a 0, it's almost as if it doesn't exist. So maybe Clark doesn't have this one. Maybe, don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna go slightly below, but it's still, as you say, it's still an okay figure. It's not quite like on the levels of Marty Jannetty or any of those guys. So it's 4.8 from me.
Still generous.
Yeah, it probably is actually. I'll think about how much I read. This could have been so much better. Anyway, let's move on to something that could be perfect. In fact, it is perfect. It's Mr. Perfect. Or is the figure perfect? Talk us through this one, Adam.
Yeah, I really like this figure. It just looks, even just holding it like this, it looks like he's about to do the perfect plex. Just looks like it. Really good figure. I actually like the yellow attire. It's nice and basic. He doesn't have any kind of wording or anything on the boots at all, which I think Perfect always did. Apart from maybe the very early Perfect, I think he always did. Facial wise, he's got the serious expression that Perfect had. It's almost a thinking expression, which I like about this one. The hair is very yellow. It's almost as yellow as the attire itself. So that maybe loses it a little bit for me. I can't remember whether Perfect wore the exact knee pads and stuff like that he's got on. So it's nothing that I'm knocking points off by, let's say. It's a nice figure.
It is. It is a nice figure. It's just missing a couple of details that would have made it better. And the obvious one is on the back of the singlet, where Perfect always had a V shape in black or blue or various colours. And they say the Mr. P missing off the boots and maybe a bit of wrist tape. We're going to be really nitpicky. I think the hair colour is perfect. I'm unsure what you mean by that, other than the fact that it's similar colour to the attire, but I'm not going to knock it for that. And it's a decent looking face, I would say. It's not perfect, but it's all right.
Yeah, I think as a kid, I was a massive fan of this figure, and I am as an adult. So, yeah, the general consensus of the Legion of Hasbro is how much this figure was great as a kid and how much it was as an adult as well. So it's always good to see. JJ has put, he'd say an 8, nice figure, action, move, and perfect color choice for singlet. So just give it a nice simple 8, and I'll reflect his score and go for a straight 8 as well for this one.
What is it with the straight 8? Because the Legion of Hasbro's exact overall average score was 8.8 out of 10. So I think it's one better, and it's 8.1 for me.
And I'm going to go slightly below because I think there's at least 3 things that I can see that aren't perfect with it. So 7.8.
At least we won't get an average score of 8. I don't think.
No.
Let's move on. And it's a Sergeant Slaughter, recently in demand from the Ultimate Edition. Looks very similar to the Ultimate Edition, I guess, that was released.
I was very surprised at the comments on this one. So as a kid, I was never a fan of this figure, only because I think it's just the playability of it was just never really there for me as a kid. But I think the general what they've been saying is how much I can appreciate now as an adult. It seems to be Johnny Smith has put, love the figure, very nice on display. I'd give him an 8. So yeah, I think that seems to be it. On display, it looks fantastic. It's common as muck nowadays, but it's it's just a nice figure on display.
It is, you're right. I think the lower half of the camo is done really well for the time, in terms of the decoration there. So 4 marks on that. I'm not sure whether he could have had a t-shirt underneath, because he usually wore a camo t-shirt with the vest on top in WWF at least. So in the the 90s WWF, the pointing finger kind of is a bit. As I say, it's good for display, but not for play. You're just going to point your finger in someone's eye, and of course the hat and glasses being on, not ring ready, but I've never really been minded that. So I do get what you're saying. You probably appreciate it more as an adult, and especially when you study the figures like we do, we kind of analyze them as they are. So it is better than I expected. I kind of thought I'd go into this giving it a lower score, but I don't think I will.
I can't really add much more. It wasn't a figure that I played with because, like Jamie said, you couldn't really. The amount of figures that I saw of this on a car boot with the hat chipped in half, or the front of the hat chipped off. The finger, it's nice to look at, but it makes no sense when you want to pin people and do moves with him. It is a display-only figure, and that loses quite a lot of marks for me.
Okay.
And Morgan Osgood from the Legion of Hasbro has put 6.9. It is a good figure, but I hated that it had a hat and a pointing finger. I wanted my figures to be ready to wrestle.
Yeah, pretty much what Adam just said, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it's reflected all round. So for me, I'm going to give it a 7.2. Only because I can appreciate it more as an adult now, but as a kid, it was just never really rubbed off really easily, the pain as well on the stomach.
I'm going to go much lower than that because I really dislike the figure. 5.4.
It's got a nice belt though. Have you seen its belt? Belt's very detailed.
Well, you two be public enemy number 1 at Legion of Hasbro because they've given it overall average score of 8.05, so higher than Mr. Perfect. And my score will be slightly lower than that, and it is 7.9.
Oh, a 9.
I think it's better than the Mr. Perfect that I've just given 7.8. Right. Texas Tornado time. I tell you what, I've got a decent action on here. I always seem to struggle to find one. In fact, it doesn't turn well that way, but that way is quite good. But yeah, I've come across a lot of these, and they've lost the action, whereas the Tatanka ones seem to be much better, even though it's the same model. Cracking likeness, I think. And, it's got his tassels. The only thing missing is maybe a logo. You used to have a Tornado logo, but that's nitpicking. I think it's all around pretty nice.
I think nostalgia-wise, this is sort of one of the ones that always brings it back to me when you look at it and when you flip it around itself. Sort of the one, one of the ones that brings it back to the most, I'd say this figure is.
Yeah. I think the only thing maybe is bring it down is the playability. But it does do a wicked Tornado punch, which was his finisher. So the action does make sense. It just the lack of playability. But overall, I keep knocking over a bottle of water.
There's a tornado in your house. That's it.
I both love and hate this figure. I really disliked Texas Tornado when I was a kid. So he was always somebody else when I played with him. I loved the action. I'm like the reverse to you. I think the playability wise of that action, I loved it. I was a big clothesline fan. That was always one of my favorite moves when I was a kid. So I love the fact he could do a spinning one. You can go for the pin because he's got both his arms kind of like that. I actually really enjoyed it, but not Tornado. But as an adult, like you say, that face is terrific on the Tornado figure. Just the logo, really. Nothing else.
Yep.
The double clothesline was always good with this one as well.
Yeah, never thought of that. Good idea.
Daniel Ahmed from the Legion of Hasbro has said 8. I love it and still have a memory of getting him in Woolworths. I also think I got this Texas Tornado from Woolworths right as a kid. Quite a different one to Daniel. But who's going to kick us off with some scores then?
We'll kick off the Legion of Hasbro, I think, and they give it an overall score of 7.4. And I'll follow up by saying I think it's better than that, so it's 8.1.
I was going straight 8.
Wow, I thought you might give it lower, but
I
guess you didn't too much.
I only got 8.3 on it. JJ has put he absolutely loved this figure. He's given it an 8. He says the likeness and the spinning tornado move that I used to make him do for hours on so many figures. And then Jason Clements has totally agreed with him on that one. So yeah, this is the consensus of how good the move is and how much likeness there is to the figure.
So from one disaster to another, it is Typhoon, the other half of the natural disaster, and I suppose Tornado's friend act together as one. Should have made a stable out of the natural disasters and now Tornado join. I'm going off on a tangent here. Let's talk about the figure.
They should have done. I don't know why they didn't. They could have called themselves like the Weather Boys or something.
Now that just sounds not wrestling.
Not wrestling, it's 80s pop music. This figure, once again, like Earthquake, was a centre-back in my wrestling figure football games. I loved it as a kid. I think I used to do the big splash with him. I don't think that was his finishing move, but just supposed to do it quite well and brightly. But the writing always comes off quite easily. It's quite hard to get a good one.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, people often say about how hard it is to find on the secondary market or how easily it can be damaged. Are we going to sort of take that in consideration and mark because, or are we going to score one that's near mint or whatever, like this one, all the wording's intact? I guess it's up to them really, but I would sort of judge a figure on how it is presented as brand new. So in this case, I was happy with the design on the front. I just can't remember if there's meant to be anything on the back. For some reason, it doesn't look right from the back being all red. Do you guys remember? Was it maybe I think it may have been a black.
I think his logo.
Black top.
Yeah, I think his logo went all the way around, didn't it? Rather than just being on the front. I think it was like on the side.
I might just look this up since I got a phone on
me.
Rather than being wrong about
rather than it all being sort of up front and in your face, I'm pretty sure it was like more around the front and the back.
I guess you wore it different ways as well, so talk amongst yourself. Otherwise, I'm going to do a bit of research.
Well, the general God, actually, Adam, let's hear your 2 pence on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to make a comparison here with Earthquake and Typhoon, and Earthquake is much better than Typhoon. I think Earthquake's body shape is more like Earthquake. I don't think this Typhoon's body shape is perfect. I don't think the face is anywhere near as good as Earthquake. It's a nice toyetic figure and it looks good. And you've got the wave going over, and it is what it is. But I just don't think it's as much Typhoon as Earthquake is Earthquake.
Right. Based upon my research, I'm going to agree with you because this black at the front should continue all the way around to the back. So there should be black trunks with the red top. So it doesn't have that. So it is inaccurate. So I'm going to agree. It's not as good as Earthquake. So I think it might be the low 7s for me. I'm going to kick off scores with 7.1.
6.5 for me. I think. So I like the action, but it's been brought to light recently, isn't it, about the flesh-coloured and under crotch, should we say? Sort of.
I don't think that's a problem, like a huge problem. Anyway, you only see it when you look at it from that angle.
What is it?
I wouldn't knock marks off for that.
You've got a mark. You've got a mark. Not marks off for that.
But yeah,
base sideball never hurt anyone.
I'd go the same as Jamie, 6.5.
Oh, great! Thanks for your variation of scores, lads.
Was a nice variation here. Let's have a look at David O'Neill, who said that a tugboat variant would be cool. But he loves having natural disasters. 7.5 for this figure.
7.5. Very good. So that does lead to, it's probably one of the better scores for him on Legion of Hasbro, because they did kind of mark him down a bit and give him a 6.81 overall. Sorry.
Good.
I think I messed up my scores here. I can't remember what I've given. I've wrote something wrong. I'm just looking at the sheet I've been writing on. And for some reason it says I've given Sergeant Slaughter 5.4. And I definitely didn't say that.
No,
I must,
maybe sort it off camera. Maybe.
I think that was me.
That was Adam.
I'll have to go back and have a look and double check once this comes out. Apologies, guys. I'll get back on track and we'll finish it off.
To be fair, no one noticed it until you brought it up. No one knew.
I've got to be honest.
You've dug your own grave there.
I'll figure it out. Anyway, Ultimate Warrior Series 3. What do you think of this one? So this one is purple attire mainly, and it just looks like a gorilla.
As a kid, this is one of my favorite figures. This with the Hogan of the same series, just the matches you can have for these two. Just you can do everything with them. What more could you want from a figure? It's a decent size. It's big. It's beefy. It has a move, but the move doesn't then overpower the figure, if that makes sense. So he's playable. I mean, it's just a lovely figure.
I can't make my mind up with this. It looks good, but then it feels really light and flimsy, and like it's going to break, and it makes a rattle sound, and it's all, this head to the lower legs is all one piece. It's a very strange one. It's almost unique, and I really don't know how to score this one.
I really enjoyed this figure as a kid. This was always the one with the belt. This was always my champion when I was a kid. He always managed to win the Rumbles and stuff like that. I think just the fact that his arms go like that and you can bash away. Like you say, it is quite a unique figure. I can really appreciate it as an adult as well. I just enjoy it.
Yeah. I think this might have made a good bushwhacker. So you can sort of, if you can judge it right, alternate the arms to do the bushwhacker. I just can't figure it out because I'm being.
So it was unique until the Skinner come out, and then it's
the
same.
I'm so back and forward. I don't know what to score it. This one's causing me havoc. What the Legion Hasbro say?
Well, Stuart McClelland has given it a 10. He says he loves this one. Great appearance and great moves. That's what he said. And then Robbie Duncan has said, love playing with my purple warrior. And he's given it an 8.
Yes, I've seen that comment. He got a lot of likes and reactions for that. I'm still on the fence. I don't know. I
think the thing that knocks it down for me is that although you can go in bashing and stuff like that with it, it can't really take moves. It can't do anything because of the one piece action. So that's the only thing that loses points for me. I think looks wise and action wise is brilliant.
Yeah, it is good. It is good. Could I get your scores, Adam, please?
Yeah, straight 9.
Even I've been more generous than that. 9.5 for me. Just reeks of childhood.
I was never going to the 9s. I think I've convinced myself to go in the 8s, and I'm going to go for 8.6. I never had this as a child, so I don't have that nostalgia to it. And there's something preventing me from really liking it. I think it's the way it feels. It's so light. I think it's hollow. So it's a strange one, but yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean about the hollowness. And also, I think it's the more sought after warrior, I'd say. When you look on the other two, you can pick up readily available, but this one seems to be in the 20 quid ones, try and get a decent condition. So,
yeah, I definitely prefer the Series 2 anyway. So,
see, I'm more definitely a Series 3 guy. I know people are Series 1 fans.
Yeah,
of Warriors.
It
so
I think that's what is so good about the Hasbros or even any toy line, really. It's like people have different opinions on what they value more. So there's never a real right answer. There's never a wrong answer. And you got to just use your mind to pick out the facts to make up your own opinion. But always, opinions aren't facts.
Exactly. Well, at least we don't have a confirmed number one spot already, so that's always a good thing. That's it, boys. I think that's everything from this episode, isn't it?
That's it from the Hasbro Series 3 as well. So we'll move on to Series 4 next time.
Lovely. Have you got a list of Series 4 there?
Oh, yes. So what we're going to do with Series 4 is we are having the core 4 from Series 4, but mixing up the tag teams from that series as well. So we're mixing them in. So we've got 2 episodes lined out. We've got a... Oh, sorry. No, I'm telling lies. We're going to do the whole of Series 4, which includes tag teams. So
You sure?
Yes. The Legion of Doom, the Nasty Boys, Bret Hart, British Bulldog, Ricky Steamboat, and The Undertaker. So we've got a big one next week. 8 figures.
8 figures. And 8 crackers as well. I think everyone probably had a lot of them as a child, didn't they?
Yeah. I think most of them were readily available.
Because I think I've got most of them. Brilliant. Well, Adam, thank you for your time once again.
Mercy.
And Johnny Flashback.
Thanks very much, lads.
So, Arcadian wrestling star Johnny Flashback. I didn't introduce you at the start. I said Johnny DeVille instead. Boys, I will see you next episode. All the best.